Welcome to The Art of Being Freed, where we talk about growth mindset for creators and all things in between. And on today's episode, we are going to dive into 4 powerful ways to recommit yourself and reignite your passion to achieve your goals, because it is almost the halfway point of the year. And I know a lot of folks who started something in January, but they are not doing that anymore because they gave up or fell off. So if that's you, this is the perfect video for you, because we're going to go over 5 different ways that you can recommit yourself starting now. First and foremost, you have to make a decision to recommit. And this is going to provide inspiration and a starting point for you to move forward. There's a lot of vision involved when you make a decision on something, because you make that decision and you could see it happening in your mind, and it's just going to start this chain reaction of dope visuals in your mind, right? Because you made that decision to recommit. It doesn't matter what happened before. It's all about right now, and it starts with you making that decision to recommit. And number 2 is to be self-aware. And being self-aware, for me, that means practicing mindfulness. In the Bible, one of the Proverbs, it talks about knowing the state of your flocks. So Dave Ramsey has this Bible plan, and I read this Bible plan all the time. And one of the stories is that back in the biblical days, there wasn't any money. The currency was sheep. So you had to know how many sheep you had. That would determine your wealth. So when I think about mindfulness and being aware, especially when it comes to money, like I treat every dollar like it's a sheep. So be mindful, be aware, know where you're at, hold yourself accountable, right? And to hold yourself accountable, sometimes you have to assess the situation. Like, how did I get here? Where did I start? And how did I get to where I'm at now? Why am I not where I thought I'd be? And a lot of that is just asking yourself those questions. What do I need to do to get out of it? A big part of that when it comes to being self-aware and practicing mindfulness is to prepare. Like, prepare yourself. And also when you prepare, which is another amazing source of inspiration, because you're moving, your hands are moving, you made the decision. Now you're going to prepare yourself for how to get there. I take my son to training for Taekwondo, and I'll ask him a question sometimes because he has this really focused look. And when I ask him the question, hey, what's on your mind right now? And he always says, I'm preparing my mind, right? So you prepare your mind. That's where the decision starts, and you prepare to make plans. What is it going to take for you to get to that decision that you made, to make that come to fruition? What's it going to take for you to get there? Prepare to make plans, and you do that by being self-aware and practicing mindfulness. Next, we have take action. Take action, and then I wrote down engage, right? So when you talk about engage, taking action doesn't mean just move. Take action and be efficient with it. Do all that you can with the day that you're blessed with, right? And then when I say engage consistently. And you need to define what consistent looks like for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be every day. Maybe it could start with every week, or it could be as aggressive as every hour or every half hour, right? Whatever it is that you need to do, just make sure you show up. Show up as much as you can for what you want. If it's something that you deeply want, you should show up every day. If you fall off, get up and get right back at it. Don't let that moment deter you from your progress. Okay, next we have reframe your mindset. This is big because when you think about reframing your mindset, I'm going to tell you, for me, just being in sales, you always focus a lot on the outcome. If you have a quota, that's the outcome. So it's hard not to attach yourself to the outcome, especially if you're new in a role and you want to get off to a fast start. So this doesn't necessarily have to apply to sales. Just think of it as any goal that you want. Progress is what matters. Progress over perfection. Progress is one of the greatest sources of inspiration because that is your proof that it's working. So that's why I always talk about tracking your victories. So when you talk about reframing your mindset, you could start with gratitude. What are you thankful for? When you look at what you're thankful for, that's going to allow you to settle into a space of, hey, it's not all that bad. And you might have to start with, hey, I'm alive, for one. That's a big deal. And if you're alive, you have a chance, right? So it's like you have a chance. Don't fall into the fact that things are going not the way that you wanted them to, because that's just a moment. You could easily change that. So focus on being progressive versus leaning into perfecting everything. Some people aren't starting because they're waiting for their conditions to be perfect. There are going to be certain things you need to move forward, but the most important thing you need to move forward is you. Another way that you can look at reframing your mindset is by not comparing yourself to other people. This is your story. This is your vibe. This is your lane. Own it. So if this is a message that you needed to hear, or you think or feel someone else could hear this message, share this video. Don't forget to like while you're at it. The likes will help this video reach a lot more people who need some direction and guidance on how to re-engage and recommit with their goals. If you fell off a bit or you just need to recommit yourself, the fifth way to do it, and this is going to be one of the best ways, and that is to seek external inspiration. Now, when I say seek external inspiration, that could be from a book, that could be from a class, it could be from a speech, it could be from a TED Talk. Personally, I like communities. I have a really dope community that I'm a part of online. And for my online goals, like this project here, The Art of Being Freed Media, it helps to have access to a community of other folks who are doing similar things, right? So attach yourself to a community. It could be your church, it could be a peer group, but you should definitely look at being around people who can move you forward, right? Involving yourself in content that's inspiring, right? So ask yourself, like, what am I engaging with? Who am I engaging with? They always say you're the average of the five, and it doesn't necessarily have to be people. It could be food, it could be TV, it could be whatever you're doing on your phone. Again, it goes back to being mindful and reframing your mindset. A lot of that is assessing. Remember, I talked about assessing the situation, assessing what you are engaged with, because you're going to want to seek external inspiration. That means you're going to have to start curating what comes up on your phone, the notifications, your feed when you get on social media, if you get on social media, whatever you are ingesting, looking at, or taking into your body, assess it and make sure that it is going to be something that edifies you and inspires you to move forward. Here's a bonus tip. Revisit your why. Why did you commit in the first place? What was the purpose? What was the reason behind it? What were you trying to achieve? Quick story I went through recently. I stopped drinking caffeine for well over 50 days. And I remember there were these moments where I wanted to get back into caffeine. People around me were having it. I was sluggish. And I was like, yo, I just want a cup of coffee. I'll even take instant coffee. Just give me some caffeine. And I had to remember my why. Why did I stop drinking caffeine? Right? I'd gone to the doctor and my blood pressure was high. I was drinking a lot of energy drinks. That was a small part of it. My bad on drinking an energy drink before my physical. That's why my blood pressure was high, but it was enough to spook me into not messing with caffeine for well over 50 days. I've been drinking caffeine every day just about for over 13 years. So remember why, right? And in that instance, health was at the core. That was at the foundation. So whatever your why is, that should be the driving force that recommits you to what you need to do. The Art of Being Free, dropping new episodes. We're back every Friday. Took a little break. Make sure you share this with your folks. Like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you are loving this and you are recommitting to getting back on your goals, but you want to reinvent yourself, this video is perfect for you. You're going to love it because we talk about how you can reinvent yourself with the second half on deck. If you are listening on the podcast, leave a 5-star review wherever you're hearing this, and please share with your folks. The Art of Being Freed. We are focused on growth mindset for creators and all things in between. Until next week, I will see you soon. Peace.